What's up, everybody, and welcome back. We are, well, we're going to play a little Fortnite here, and I gotta admit, I am terrible at this game. I play a lot of PUBG and other Forza 4 and other games, but I respect Fortnite. They've got a good thing going here, and one of the questions we always get, because this is probably the most popular Battle Royale game right now, is does this hardware play Fortnite? Now, granted, this is not a gaming tablet, it's not a gaming PC or anything of that nature, but I can tell you this is the Core i7 model with 16 gigs of RAM, which means it is the highest performant Surface tablet there is. And so if this thing can't play it, it won't play anything else, but I suspect it will at a respectable level because the Surface Go, which is right here, can play it just barely, but it does work, and considering this is higher processing power in about every regard, this should work well. And so a couple caveats here. I'm running this on the Surface Pro 6, obviously, but I'm also recording it with the game bar. I do have it in game mode. It is plugged in on max power, but we are going to see a little bit of decrease in frames per second. What I'm noticing is around 5 to 7 frames per second, maybe even a little bit more, because I'm also mirror casting it up here. So there's other things going on. I'm not just playing the game. So the numbers that I'm going to be calling out as I'm playing this, know that they're going to be a little bit higher on yours, but this is representing probably the most taxing environment it's going to be in. And so let's just give it a try here, shall we? So matchmaking is spinning up, and like I said, I'm very bad at Fortnite, so please don't judge it on that. Strictly look at this as a technical preview of what is actually possible. And so we're also doing it over Wi-Fi, by the way, because there's no built-in Ethernet port here, and so that's going to impact my latency a little bit. I'm also using the Xbox One Bluetooth controller. This is not an Elite controller because, well, Elite doesn't support Bluetooth, and here we are. And so matchmaking, it says that we are joining a server, and I think away we are going. This will be interesting. I know a lot of people love this game, and so playing this on a tablet is going to be a real interesting experience. I suspect it's going to work okay based on based on previous games. And so I don't know where the FPS counter went. Oh, there it is. It's back up on the top. So right now we're getting about 23 frames per second. We are cruising on in here. And so we are going to find a spot to land, hopefully out in the open a little bit. Everybody off, last jump. So we are jumping, and as we are flying down, settings crash here. And we will try this again later with lower settings. Remember, this is on optimal settings. We're getting about, wow, it dips down all the way down to 9, but it's settling out right in the mid-teens, if you will. So we are going to pull the chute, and we are going to cruise on in here. So we are, again, upper teens at this moment in time. You can kind of see that going on. And wow, there's a lot of people landing here. And so we are just going to go cruising, and we are going to, I'm going to die a spectacular death, but the point here is to try to get some actual, well, I actually need to find a building or something to loot. But here we go, we're getting close to the ground. I actually expect FPS to improve once we do. There's less draw distance. So now we are running, and it is improving a little bit here. Not as much as I thought, but we're still upper teens, so around 20. And once we drop the settings here, I'll be curious to see how much higher we can make this. Because remember, again, this is on what Blizzard said was an optimal setting. And so we'll run in here. Open the door. Please let me find a gun or something. Oof. Nope, I'm just testing the frames per second there. It's still in the mid-teens. Remember, it will be higher if you do this just on your own, because I'm streaming, mirrorcast the display behind me, and I'm also running the game bar, and so there's a lot of things working against it here. Here's an object over here. Oh, never mind. I am completely out of my league. Get some animations on the screen, and we're got some light bullets, but no gun. Whole bunch of wood. A little bit of lag there. I mean, we're definitely seeing some interface lag or gaming lag that is not going to be ideal. But again, if you're playing this game, you're probably playing it just to have fun, right? You're not playing it to be competitive on a device like this. Here we go. Now we got a gun. And so let's switch to that bad boy. Alright, now we at least got a gun. I wonder if we can go find some people here, because that's going to be a key element as well. As we go run around again in the upper teens, which is, for a device like this, is probably respectable. And without tinkering with the settings at all, I mean, it's not great. I mean, candidly, it's really not great, but can you play with it? Probably. I mean, I don't expect you to start your gaming career off as something like this. But, I mean, it's playing it. Now, the fans are spinning pretty dang high. That's not all that unexpected, right? Because this is a game, and, I mean, it doesn't look terrible, at least at this mode. I want to go find somebody, because running at 15 frames per second as it is right now is not exactly ideal for a first-person shooter that's based on Twitch mechanism. But we will see what's going on here. It also doesn't help that I don't have the audio on, otherwise you guys would be hearing the feedback. So, clearly some people have been through here, no surprise. Shotgun there. So I'm getting shot at. Right in front of me. And I was killed without even doing anything. But frame rate stayed relatively constant through that battle. So not too terrible, not too terrible. All right. So now next thing we are going to do here is, let's go back to the lobby here. Return to lobby. And we are going to drop the settings and see what kind of frame rate we can get if we max things out. Or I shouldn't say max things out. Lower things about as much as we can. So we got settings here. Alright, so that's the current resolution. Let's do quality is low. That was on medium. And so now we're going to do it on low quality. And let's see what happens. Apply. We're going to turn motion blur off, because that will help us out even more. Keep the display resolution. We're going to keep everything else the same, but this is just if you put the quality on low. I think that's going to be the easiest way. So apply, back, hit, play. So this is going to be on low quality. I'm expecting, obviously, that we are going to get improved frame rate. I don't expect it to be a lot better than before, because it was on medium. And going from medium to low should help things out, but it's not going to be, I'd be very surprised if this is going to be 60 frames per second or anything even close to that for that matter. But here we go. Fortnite has found us a game where I can go run and die an early death. But this should be good. This should be good. And this should honestly give you a pretty good idea of what is capable here. Waiting for more players right now. Ooh, already we're seeing mid-30s. Dare I even say 40s. Everything is way down low, and granted you could probably get things a little higher depending on if you're willing to sacrifice resolution, although the animations are quite rough, but that could be people loading in. Alright, here we go. So right now seeing FPS in the 40s. I mean, they're staying in the 40s. Nope, now we're getting into the 30s. So we are going to jump in here. Let's see. We're going to jump a little past Lonely Lodge. We're jumping. Let's see what we got. Ooh, we got a lot of people on the screen. That's a good thing, even though I'm not trying to. Well, I'd love to kill these people and be triumphant, but let's be real here. I'm playing on a Surface Pro 6, and frame rates are around 30 right now, which is honestly somewhat respectable for a device like this. Granted, you'd think a Core i7 would do higher, but it's all still Intel integrated graphics, so we're just floating around here. And let's can't land right here. What do we got? Ammo. We got some bullets. I need a gun, ideally. In the 40s. I mean, that's not bad, given what this thing is. Granted, it's not cheap for only getting 40 frames per second, but again, this is a tablet. This is not a gaming machine. And so, again, staying in the 30s, so you can expect that's probably about ideal. I mean, it doesn't look nearly as good. You can definitely tell that there are some a lot more jaggies, and it's just not as smooth of an experience as when we had it on medium, which granted even medium wasn't all that great. But all things considered, get through there. Let me find a gun, maybe. We will see. Otherwise, I'm going to probably die an early death. Storm starting, or the eye shrinks in 3 minutes. Still not seeing anybody. Still getting a solid 40 FPS here. Granted, there's not even one to draw because there is somebody right there. I'm gonna die, but we're in the 20. I hit them. Oh, it's eliminated. No surprise there. All right, so that you can see there was in the 40s. So that's probably, I would say, the ideal FPS you're going to get, because if you go much lower, you're sacrificing a lot. So is it possible to game on the Surface Pro 6, the i7 with 16 gigs of RAM and play Fortnite? Yeah, I just did it. I'm not very good, and you're not going to probably, this isn't an esports ready tablet that you can just take and play the game. But is it possible? It absolutely is. And just depending on what your requirements are or how willing you are to drop those specs, you might actually find it just fine. For me, I would like something a little bit more dedicated with a better GPU. That's clearly the bottleneck here, the Intel integrated graphics not holding up. I don't think it's on the compute side that is any issue, but just keep that in mind. If you're looking to play Fortnite on the Surface Pro 6, it is possible, but I would not spend the $1,500 plus to buy this tablet only to play Fortnite. If you're going to spend that money, spend it on something else. Go get a desktop and like a, I don't know, 2070 right now, or even a last gen, maybe 1080 Ti would be a much better investment for your money. That being said, it does work, and this has been playing Fortnite on the Surface Pro 6.